His show, The Lead with Jake Tapper, can be seen every single day at 4 Eastern Time on CNN. And he is right here on The Rich Eisen Show here in Washington, D.C. Good to see you, Jake.
It's great to see you. I guess I saw you a few weeks ago at the Big Slick.
At the Big Slick. You know, last time you were on this show, you were guesting, if you will, with Will Forte.
Yeah.
And then mere hours later, behind the set on the actual field,
yeah,
you pulled like a Bud Harrelson, Pete Rose type brawl, rolling around on the ground with Will Forte. What happened?
One of the biggest mistakes of my life, I have to say.
Why?
Well, the year before we had done I was covering third base and he was on third base, and I tried to shove him off the bag, and it turned into a fake brawl, and everybody joined in. And this year, I tried to get a brawl going. He had been tagged out at second, and then he kept running. And then he was on third, and I objected to it, and I ran over to him to try to tackle him, forgetting that I was 49 years old as opposed to 18. And I think I bruised a rib.
Well, you came up, your knee was bleeding.
That was the least of it. For the next month, anytime I coughed or sneezed, it was exquisite pain.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yes.
You're oblique? You had an oblique?
Exquisite pain. My sternum. It wasn't broken, but it was bruised. And I thought, boy, that was really dumb. Why did I do that? Entirely my fault. And also, by the way, Forte, who's not a big man. He's not big. He's not like a Will Ferrell type character. He's sturdy. He's like an oak. I mean, that hurt.
So I guess he's more compact than you would think.
Much stronger than I am, much younger than I am, I guess.
So are you admitting you're better at fake brawl than real brawl? Is that what you're saying, Jake? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
I admit that was a horrible thing for me to have done, and I was in a lot of pain.
Now, when did you realize that?
Immediately.
Is that right?
Immediately, I was like, oh my God.
It was funny because years ago, here's a similar story. Years ago, the Pro Bowl was 2006. Okay. So I'm in Hawaii doing the end of an NFL Total Access with Ray Lewis and Rod Woodson. Yeah. And they were teaching me. They're like, we had like 2 minutes to go, and they're like, we're live. And they're like, how would you like to hit a tackling dummy to close the show? And I'm like, okay.
How hard could that be?
Exactly. How hard could that be?
It's just a
dummy.
I
thought to myself also, Ray Lewis and Rod Woodson teaching me how to hit a tackling dummy. If this was put up for a charity auction, people would bid an absurd amount of money for the right to do this.
Yeah.
Who am I to say no? I will not try.
It's a dummy. It's got to be like hitting like a balloon.
Is this big old bag, right?
Like a shmoo, just hitting a shmoo.
Exactly, hitting a shmoo. I hadn't thought about that at the time, but that's why I'm glad that you're here now to help provide that sort of perspective. So, but Rod Woodson held the bag, and Ray was teaching me how to hit it. You got to get, bend at the hips and go out and hit it with your chest. Like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. Rod Woodson holding the bag, much like Lucy holding the football for Charlie Brown. As I was hitting the bag, let it go.
Oh man!
And I went straight through it. Oh. My microphone pack on the back of my belt goes flying just to add to the physical comedy to this whole thing. And I got up and just decided to just, fly like a bird or whatever, like a raven, even though I had no idea I was doing the Eagles thing at the time. And end of show, we're all laughing. Cut to about a half an hour later, and my right arm is in such searing pain, my shoulder.
Yeah.
Searing pain. I landed on my AC joint, and I couldn't move my arm for the rest of the trip.
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
It gives you insight into what these guys go through and why so many of them use medicine to help them out.
I didn't. Well, we called the trainer up on the show the next day on live TV, and I had to go to my left hand for the microphone for the rest of the week.
Is that true?
That's a true story. I had to go to my left hand for the microphone for the rest of the week. I couldn't lift my arm. It's good to see you, man.
It's great to be here.
I appreciate you being here. I mean, you were just in Helsinki, right?
I am jet lagged.
You are, huh?
I am jet lagged. I just got off the flight from Helsinki yesterday, and then drove to the studio, did my show.
Yes.
And whatever.
Which I watched yesterday.
Yeah.
And now here you are.
Quite a show. Quite a news cycle.
Yes, it has been quite some time. Just being around in this town too has just been interesting, to say the least.
Well, I think every day of this presidency is unprecedented and new, but I mean, the first time I've ever seen an American president side with an enemy over the American people. I mean, the United States was attacked, and there he was with the guy who led the cyber attack, and suggesting that he believes him and not our own law enforcement and intelligence. And
I was reading about how on the flight back at one point, apparently Trump was watching the home run derby.
Yeah,
I read that. I read that he's out there watching maybe your guy Reese Hoskins go yard.
He looks pretty good.
And here we are at the
Aaron Judge too, right?
Well, I mean, here we are at the All-Star break, and your Philadelphia Phillies,
first place in the NL East,
are half game in front.
Half game. Yep. But the Braves are always good.
They are.
Yeah.
What in this town are people talking about Bryce Harper's struggles at all?
Yeah.
Or the fact that he might be leaving.
People in Washington are very Nats focused. There's a real love and obsession for the Nats. And in fact, when they started, there was a moment when a lot of my friends from college thought that I should embrace the Nats and just like get there on the ground floor and just so I would know everything. Because when in somebody's life do you have an opportunity to like be with a team from day one, but no, I'm a Phillies fan.
Right, of course. And now also being here, I imagine, I don't know what your travels were, when the Capitals won it all.
I don't care about hockey, to be honest.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I really just...
the Flyers never...
No, even when the Broad Street Bullies were in their heyday, and all my friends loved them, I don't like it. And I have to say, I tried to watch the playoffs this year.
Yes.
Having not watched hockey literally in years. And... the last time I watched, they made it easier for you. You could follow the puck. They had something in the puck.
The glowing glow. That's been a while.
I liked it. I liked it. I could see the puck. Now I spend the whole time trying to watch hockey, and I'm like, where'd the puck go? What?
By the way,
where's the puck?
By the way,
why don't they bring back the glowing puck?
You were in this because you might have been the only person who liked it.
Is that right? It was all I care about was I could see the puck. Now I spend the whole time trying to figure out the game. Where's the puck? Like I feel like I'm always like 5 seconds behind the action. Anyway, I don't like hockey. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, maybe we could start right here. Bring back the glowing puck. You could, by the way,
hashtag.
I don't mean to tell you how to do your job.
This is, by the way, not my job.
Maybe that's the lead today. Whatever your rundown looks like.
It sounds like you're saying that when it comes to the glow, I have better odds of getting the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Yes.
Into the NHL.
Hey. By the way, no, we're workshopping this right now. I don't know if you're aware that we are workshopping. We could do
one or the other. We need glow and then the AHL together. I would go with glowing puck, but other people might like the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Hey, before we take our first break, the Hellfire Club, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I know you read it, and I know you enjoyed it.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how I told you this when I was, I think, riding on the bus with you at the Big Slick to one of the many events while we were
a couple gin and tonics into the day.
A little bit. Yeah. How the hell do you have time to do something?
This was fun to write, and I'd been working on it for several years, but it was fun to write. I mean, just taking a break from nonfiction and going right into fiction and making it all up and reading. I love history and reading about history. And if I write a sequel, I think your boy Sinatra is going to be in the sequel.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. If I write one.
No, how do you not write one? I mean,
well, I'd have to talk to the publisher and get a deal and all that stuff.
Well, I understand that, but I mean, this thing is such.
Can I tell you?
Can I tell you
because I know you're a huge Sinatra fan.
Yes.
And anybody who's gone karaokeing with Rich knows that perhaps he's too much of a Frank Sinatra fan.
Uh-oh.
To the exclusion of any other recording artist.
Well, I mean, other than Looking Glass, because I sing Brandy, You're a Fine Girl.
That's a fine song.
Yeah, what a good wife she would be. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, Sinatra always comes out when you're around.
Yes.
But there was a time in 1962. If I write a sequel, this would be part of it. Mm-hmm. There was a time in 1962 when JFK was going to come out to California. President Kennedy was going to come out to California he was going to be speaking at I think at Berkeley, and Sinatra wanted him to stay at the Sinatra, I think Palm Beach estate, and he had all this stuff built. He had a helipad built and extra rooms, and the press corps would stay here, and this, all this stuff because he and Jack were buddies. And Bobby Kennedy, the Attorney General, squashed it because of Sinatra's mob ties, and Sinatra lost it. And he excommunicated Peter Lawford, who was a Kennedy brother-in-law, from the Rat Pack. And there's a rumor that he took a sledgehammer to the helipad. He just went nuts. I just love that story so much.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Yeah. That's true. That's not fiction. That's real.
Wow. Sledgehammer to the helipad.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is that a fantasy team name? Is that a new fantasy team name? Sledgehammer to the helipad. And so Peter Lawford would be the Avatar, or would be Sinatra would be the Avatar of it? Sledgehammer to the helipad?
Just a hammer.
Maybe like Peter Lawford with like one drop, like the Native American hand. This is the one crop.
From the garbage. On top, from top of the garbage dump?
Yeah, one tier. Instead of garbage across sacred lands, it would be just the trashed Sinatra compound.
This Sledgehammer to the helipad.
Funny.
Fantastic. I want to take a 60-second break and come back and get into this thing.
Okay.
This thing is the Die Hard Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah.
You are the Die Hard Christmas truther.
I wouldn't call it that, but
I will, because Bruce Willis is on my side, and that is John McClane, sir.
Well, he's the skin puppet that read the script that was written by Steve D'Souza, the screenwriter, who is on my side of the debate.
We are back in 60 seconds with this, and we have also culled your IMDb page and your Wikipedia page with certain items, and we want to know if it's real news or fake news.
Okay, fair enough.
With Jake Tapper of CNN when we come back in 60 seconds.
You're listening to The Rich Eisen Show.
Okay, we're back here in Washington, D.C. Chris Haynes of ESPN is going to join us on the latest on the Kawhi Leonard trade that is rumored to be going down between the Spurs and Toronto Raptors. And Ken Rosenthal will be joining us in hour 3 about the rumored trade that's about to be going down between the Orioles and Dodgers about Manny Machado. But for the moment, we have Jake Tapper of CNN. Check out The Lead with Jake Tapper later on today at 4 Eastern Time and every single day. And then, of course, State of the Union with Jake, which is must-see viewing at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and noon Eastern Time every single Sunday on CNN. And then The Hellfire Club, which is a great book, a great novel that Jake has put out there that hopefully we'll have, if you have the time and the deal and the inclination, a follow-up. Certainly if it's going to involve a Frank Sinatra trashing a helipad story, that'd be fantastic.
That's a sequel, yeah.
That's a sequel. Now, let's get into this here.
Sinatra family denies that, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Just for fairness.
I appreciate the fairness.
For fairness.
Just a fairness.
For fairness.
Well, we don't want Tina Sinatra all upset with us.
No,
Right?
no.
Okay.
It's been a rough week.
Because they
lost Nancy Sr.
That's right. I heard about that.
Yeah.
Also, this week, while you were in Helsinki.
Yeah, it was the 30th anniversary of the release of the Christmas classic Die Hard, which has been noted.
Summer blockbuster.
Doesn't matter when you release a film, whether or not it's a Christmas movie. Miracle on 34th Street, one of the all-time classics, released in May. Yeah, and it was fun to have the week crescendoed with the taping of the roast of Bruce Willis. Haven't seen it yet.
Yes, and that's out later on this month, but it was leaked out that his final remark of the night of a roast, where every quality joke comes from a germ of truth, is that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. That was his walk-off, thank you, good night, thanks for being here.
Which I felt was aimed at me personally, by the way. I felt like there was I don't know if he knew it.
But it was aimed at you personally.
Well, I think I am one of the most prominent asserters of the fact. The Die Hard
asserter of
the fact.
That rhymes with truther in a way. But okay, yeah.
Asserter of facts.
Best Christmas movie ever made. There's a tweet of mine. Yeah,
yes.
Well done, Jake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well
it's just these are
no, but you understand.
I wrote an entire poem about.
Oh, I saw it all
about Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
That was aimed at me.
It was a response to you, yes. but I tweeted it for everyone.
But so let me just now that
do you want me to build the case? I mean, do you want me to explain why?
No. That we are here face to face.
I've been doing it for
why
weeks,
John McClane and his pursuit of his wife Holly. Why that story has something to do with Christmas? I mean, do you want me to do it?
Sure, because to me, a Christmas movie isn't a Christmas movie just because it takes place during Christmas. There must be some.
Isn't that the definition of a Christmas movie?
No. The definition of a Christmas movie is, yes, it may take place during Christmas, but there is some essence of the Christmas spirit
redemption
that is woven throughout the entire
saving the world
film,
like redemption.
No, like
going after loved ones.
No,
good
like
versus evil.
A miracle.
Do you not think that John McClane's performance and success was miraculous?
No, I don't. No.
One man against this group of thugs.
How many movies do you see one man against a group of thugs that just happens to take place during Christmas that makes it a Christmas movie?
So you don't think that John McClane in any way was intended to be a Christ figure, symbolically?
Absolutely not.
The stigmata on his feet mean nothing to you? Nothing?
He's not wearing a shirt. He's bleeding.
His shoes are taken off. He took off his shoes. That's why they shot the glass.
There is
whoever shot the glass in the Bible. I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
I don't think they had glass.
So
back
Christmas
then.
movies have to only have be limited by what is experienced in the year zero.
People have to have some feel-good thing at the end, like It's a Wonderful Life. Me and Rich, we talk about
it. An angel gets his wings. Which angel got its wings?
John McClane.
Reginald Val Johnson.
Got his wings. John McClane. It was a redemption
What's
story.
What's his wings? A nice flight home with a teddy bear in first class?
The flight in. All right.
Please.
John McClane comes to, on Christmas Eve, comes to try to fix his life, right? Okay. With his wife, Holly. Her name is Holly.
Like deck the halls with boughs of.
Is her name Molly? No, her name is not Molly.
Nope.
Her name is Holly.
Okay.
All right. The entire film takes place on Christmas Eve, start to finish. It's not just like one scene. The entire film, Christmas references throughout the movie, everything, songs, references, questions about do they even have Christmas in Japan, Mr. Nakatomi? Do they? It's throughout. There is a Judas character, right? I mean, there is a pregnant woman at Nakatomi Plaza. There is reference after reference of miracles and one man sacrificing himself to the point that he has stigmata, bloody feet. That just happens. You're like, oh, they shot out the window. Yes. Why do you think the screenwriter had them shoot out the window so that he could have bloody feet? Do you think this movie could have taken place on St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah,
it is.
Well, no, of course it can't take place on St. Patrick's Day because people don't travel from one part of the country to the other.
You think the movie could have taken place on New Year's Eve?
Of course it could have been. Absolutely.
Yep, I agree.
It could have taken place on any single time that people travel from one part of the country to the other to be with family.
But it didn't. It took place on Christmas Eve.
So is Argyle an apostle? I mean, at what point does your analogy start losing its steam?
He helped save the day, Argyle.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say he's one of the wise men.
I just didn't think that, I don't see any shootouts involving terrorists in The Miracle on 34th Street. A Christmas Story, the only weapon is the
So you can't have
the BB gun.
There's no action film that can be a Christmas movie? Is that the idea? I mean, is that your argument? Your fundamental argument is if it's an action movie, it's not a Christmas movie. Is that the argument?
I guess so. Yeah, that's an argument.
That's weak.
That's kind of weak. I mean, I don't want to get into reindeer games.
Don't go Affleck on me. Do not go Affleck.
The Ben Affleck Monica Potter
you
thriller.
You already called Bruce Willis a skin puppet.
I want to say something about that. I have been a fan of Bruce Willis since the Seagram's wine cooler commercial. Okay.
Wow.
Way back in the day.
That's deep.
I watched every episode of Moonlighting.
Yes.
Enjoyed them all. Even the one that was based on the Billy Joel album, The Bridge. I don't know if you remember Big Man on Mulberry Street.
That's deep. You are deep right now.
So I'm a fan of his. So I don't mean to berate him, but I do think a screenwriter knows more about the intent of a film than the actor. I do think that.
So Bruce Willis saying this joke to end the roast.
It was funny, and I think it was the joke, Sarah's joke, which it was an amusing joke. Buzzy. It was also buzzy, right? It was intended to create buzz so people watch it.
Exactly.
I don't think he actually knew what he was saying necessarily. Maybe he did.
Jake Tapper, everybody.
I'm a fan of Bruce Willis. I don't want to take away from Mr. Willis.
This debate is over. You guys just got owned by Jake.
I did not get owned.
You got completely owned by Jake.
If her name was Holly Claus, maybe we did. But Holly,
I might have lost to a puppet. I just might have lost to a diehard puppet.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not a puppet.
You're the puppet. You're the puppet. Speaking of Helsinki.
All right. Do we have the drop, the celebrity true or false drop here on the Rich Eisen Show that we'll play with Jake Tapper? Go for it. Let's hit it, please.
Celebrity true or false?
Oh, great drop. Celebrity true or false. It's a great drop right there. Okay, Jake Tapper, we have culled your IMDb and Wikipedia pages.
Can I just say one thing about all of this?
Yes, sir.
Which is, there's a great Dennis Miller joke from the Off-White album in the 80s where he talks about how he doesn't trust train travel because he doesn't like any form of travel where the general public has access to the breaks, and he doesn't want to get into an accent because Gus thinks he saw a woodchuck. So that's kind of like my vibe when it comes to information on the internet.
But there are some of these things that we find of interest, and I just would like to
Noah Webster, he didn't outsource it to just like, okay, just everybody fill in the blank on the dictionary. We're just going to like have fun, general public.
We're giving you the platform of real news or fake news involving Jake Tapper himself.
I agree.
Okay, first one. As a child, you attended the summer camp Ramah in the Poconos.
That is true. I did attend Ramah in the Poconos in Lake Como, Pennsylvania.
Lake Como?
Yeah.
There's a Lake Como, Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Does it look at all like Lake Como in Italy? Best you could tell.
Last time I was throwing back Casamigas with Mr.
with Clooney?
With Mr. Clooney and Amal at his Lake Como estate.
Yes.
I have to say that it didn't remind me of my Jewish camp in the Pocono Mountains, nor did it remind me of the canoes.
Okay, very good.
There was no reference.
Jake Tapper, real or fake news, you briefly attended the USC School of Cinematic Arts.
It's true. After I graduated from Dartmouth in '91, and everybody was going to law school, and I decided to go to film school, and I went to USC for 1 semester.
Did you make a Christmas movie about a Hanukkah movie about terrorists in any way, shape, or form involving a Los Angeles building?
I did not.
Okay, very good.
I did not.
For your first on-screen credit is for the role of Spencer on All My Children. Is that real news or fake news for Jake Tapper?
I did. That's interesting. I don't know if it's my first on-screen credit, but when the lead launched, and it was 2013, we did a lot of different kinds of stories. The news cycle was very different than it is today. All right, so we could explore things, and we did a thing about how they were trying to bring back soap operas on the internet. And I did play Spencer Phillips, TV, as part of I did a story about them doing this, and then they brought me in as an actor.
Oh, so this was sort of like a George Plimpton paper lion,
exactly. Exactly. That's what I thought of it at the time.
You have a writing credit for the TV movie documentary Leonard Skinner's Uncivil War.
I was the host and reporter for that on VH1. There was 6 months of my life where I worked for VH1. I was trying to learn how to do TV, and that was the very first project. It was Leonard Skinner. It was an exploration into what happened with the band Leonard Skinner. And
are you just a diehard Leonard Skinner fan?
No. But it was about how the band was feuding and why they were and all this other stuff. You can find it on YouTube. I think you'd enjoy it.
Did you say the words "tied to the whipping post," Jake Tapper?
No, we focused a little bit more on Freebird and Sweet Home Alabama. But I got to meet a number of the surviving members, and at the very end, I went to the crash site where members of the band, Ronnie Van Zant and others had died. And it was pretty remarkable.
Your IMDb page credits an alternate name of Jake Trapper.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's fake news? Is that fake news?
That seems like fake news. Okay. I need to know more.
And then you're credited in episode 7 as a disgruntled Eagles fan in the 2002 Dallas Cowboys season of Hard Knocks. Is that real news or fake news, Jake?
I think that's fake news. I think you made that up.
Yeah. Correct! We did! Well done! He sniffed it out.
But you know what? Can I tell you something?
Or that was Jake Trapper. That might have been Jake Trapper's episode.
At the Super Bowl, I met some of the gang from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And it was lovely. And then I found out that they were filming an episode that takes place at the Super Bowl, and I was upset that I didn't get to recreate it.
That was so that was partly cloudy. That
was upsetting.
Great to see you. Thanks again. I know you're a busy man. You're jet lagged like crazy. The Hellfire Club. Check it out where books are sold everywhere. And then CNN with the lead with Jake Tapper. The first lead item today that we have now found out is going to be about the return of the glow puck to hockey coverage that no longer exists.
My demand.
The demand of the return of the glow puck.
You know, sometimes I get a little irate when it comes to what's going on in the news, and the fact that I can't see where the puck is one of those.
Take it out on the puck. That's what we should all do.
Is everybody able to see where the puck is? Are you able to follow it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
All right.
State of the Union with Jake Tapper every single Sunday at 9 in Eastern and 9 a.m. and noon Eastern. Great to see you, Jake.
And I get to take this stuff,
You
right?
may take whatever's not nailed down. You may
okay,
take.
so the bats.
5-finger discounting Jake Tapper here on The Rich Eisen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.